Hey everyone, and welcome back to Be a Warrior podcast. I'm so grateful that you are here, and I hope if you're a newbie, you'll subscribe and make sure you come back each week. I take a lot of the topics from my week-to-week life as an amputee. I have been an amputee for 6.5 years, and just recently went through a revision surgery and an AMI procedure that has put me back to ground zero again. So my latest and greatest is that on Friday I went in and got a check socket to get started walking again. And I have to say I'm actually really impressed. It was 6 weeks on Friday that I put a leg back on. And even after only 6 weeks, I was really pleasantly surprised that there were no surgical pains with putting my socket on. But there were pains. And it's because a check socket, which I'm wearing right now, and I don't know if you can even see it if you're watching. It's a clear plastic and it's hard. There's no liner on me because I'm a skin fit, so what he puts on me is the way my inner liner, which is normally flexible, black, softy, more soft and pliable, that's what this one is replicating, except this has no movement. And when it's hitting way up high as an above knee amputee, it goes way up into the groin, up into the sit bone in the back. You bruise. It's so tender right now. I walked out of the office. I was so excited. I walked out of the office on Friday with my leg on. It had been 6 weeks, like I said, and I was a little apprehensive. I'm like, will I be like riding a bike? Will I get right back on? Will it hurt? Will I struggle with it? Will I remember how it feels? Plus, if you don't use something that's 10 to 15 pounds of weight, for 6 weeks, your muscles start to get kind of weak. And so my hip, I was worried my hip wouldn't be able to handle the weight of my new socket and leg again. And so there was so much going on Friday, but I proudly wore it out of the office, went over to my PT's office to say hello and line up a PT session for this coming week. And then I actually hit the grocery store. That probably was the end of it because I got done with the grocery store and was literally walking around my house when I got home trying to hold my socket on. It was literally just coming off. Every step it was just losing suction, and we call it farting because it's truly all it is. It just, your skin is just, it's like going in and out, and it's just so pliable, and it sounds horrible. And it's just really immature, but we all laugh about it because it is god-awful in sound. So at least there's some comic relief to it, but I literally was holding it on with one hand and trying to carry things in my other hand. So by the end of the day, I was done. The next day putting it on was really hard to convince myself. And this is where that I told you last week, I have a secret sauce, and that's my faith that gets me through. But there's another aspect to the secret sauce, and that is your own grit and determination, or some might call it pigheadedness and stubbornness. Whatever you want to call it, I like to say like it's grit and determination because it's just got a little more positive spin. But I know if you're going through something like I am and you're putting your socket on for the very first time, the test socket, check socket, it hurts. And I will have to tell you that I literally went yesterday, I put it on, I went to church with it, went into Barnes and Noble, and then went out for lunch in it. And I kept it on all day. And still put it on again today, and I have to say it's hurting just a little bit less. It's not painful, but it's not as bad as it was Saturday morning after all day for the first time on Friday. Not to say that I ever want to keep it like this. I'm definitely going to have my guy cut it down, and I see him on Wednesday finally to get some changes made to this. But here's where we're at in the meantime, and this is where it gets really important, and I think it's worth talking about, and that is the insurance aspect of becoming an amputee. 6.5, 7 years ago, when I had come to the deciding point after a blood clot and 5 years of surgeries and getting nowhere, I came to the decision that I was emotionally ready, and I think mentally as ready as I could be to choose amputation. And when I went and saw my general practitioner, he gave me the best advice, and he said, make sure that you are also in a place where you understand your insurance. Make sure they understand what you're going to be getting and looking for. And if you can find out anything you can from the prosthetists you're going to use on how to help yourself before you get to that point, it'll be better for you in the long run. Great advice. Unfortunately, my GP has since retired, but best advice I ever got, because I worked on the mental game and I worked on the emotional game. But really, what ends up becoming a crisis mode in a family is the financial issue or the financial burden of a major operation and then afterwards. So, of course, the surgery was deemed necessary. I was not living a healthy life. I gained a lot of weight. I wasn't able to do anything. Couldn't even walk to go get mail. It hurt so bad. But it wasn't that part. Now, some of you might be sitting in a hospital room right now and you had an accident and you didn't even know you were going to lose your leg and you're scrambling. You don't even know what to do and you're hoping for the best. I know. But anybody that's had a chance to think about it or to prep for it, this goes out to you guys, because it is a battle to the end. And I'm going to tell you a really quick excerpt to my story because it's vital. We have really good insurance with my husband's company. And I had September of 2018, I booked my amputation, and the soonest available was in December. So I had 4 months to prepare myself in all aspects of that word. Most of it was emotional, I have to be honest. But I did what my GP said, and I called my insurance company and I talked to my prosthetist because I knew who I was going to use based on my surgeon, who he liked and he respected. And I talked to them. I got specific codes. Insurance companies use codes, and each code represents a procedure or a device that is needed. Knowing that the procedure was going to be covered, I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about, well, I've decided to cut my leg off. I need a prosthetic or a prosthesis. What am I going to be able to get with the insurance I have? That is the code I needed. So I went and I had a great conversation with my prosthetist. He asked all about my hopes, dreams, aspirations. He talked about my past and the things I used to do and what I might want to get back to and all that other stuff. He got to know me. And from there, he said, this is the leg you're going to need. I see what you want to do. I understand what you have always done. This is definitely the leg we need to hit. Here's the code for the part that usually gets denied. This is the code you need. We're not going to have a problem with the socket. Going to get you a basic foot, but this knee component is high tech. You need to clear this. So I had the code so I could talk to insurance. Now, if you know anything about calling insurance, you know that you get somebody that just answers phones all day, types things in for information. Oh, yes, that code works. No, that code, your insurance doesn't do this. Your insurance covers this. It doesn't cover this. That's all they do. They just look at a script on the computer. They check out your account and they answer your questions. That is all they do all day long. You are a number, you're a voice on the phone. First time I called in September, I gave them the code. Is this covered with my insurance? And they looked it up. Yes, it is. You're sure? Like, this is the knee I need. I'm going to have an amputation in 4 months. Yes. Is this it? Yes, yes, yes. It's covered. Okay. Well, I guess I must have gotten bored, or I actually listened to someone's great advice for once, and I called back the next month. Of course, you know, you're going to get about 100 different people in 100 calls. It's never going to be the same person. And that was the point. I thought, we'll call again. Let's see if this person finds the same answer. Hi, I'm going to have an amputation in December. It's all set up. I know the amputation's covered. Is my insurance covering this code for this prosthesis? The answer was yes again. I did it again in November, and I got a different person, and I got the same answer. Yes, it's covered. December, one last time. I got a couple weeks before the amputation. Let's just check it out one more time. Got a different person, but I got the same answer. Yes, that code is covered under your insurance. You're going to be just fine. Great. 4 calls, 4 different answering people, same answer every single time. I went through with the amputation. Now, January comes, it's a lot of healing. February comes, and my prosthetist wants to see me and start getting all the write-ups from the doctor and everything on the knee I need because of the K-level test I took, which shows my activity ability, that I'm not like a wheelchair-bound person, but I really will be out hiking and doing things. This is the knee she needs to safely navigate life and to live the kind of life she's always lived. So they sent everything in, and I'm not kidding you, I got denied. That was heart-wrenching at that moment, because here I was without a leg, and at this point thinking I was without hope of ever walking on 2 legs again. So if you are there, you understand the mental anguish, the emotional anguish of hearing no, you will not get that leg. That is when, after all those years of dealing with different surgeons and PT and all that, that I finally had the drive and the determination and basically the gumption to fight for myself. I called and I said, I need to talk to someone about this because it has been denied. But when I called and talked to people, and I can tell you exactly where my first call came from. I got the denial when I was out and about. We were trying to get my son someplace for a notary for his mission trip that he was going to be going out of the country. And we were outside in the parking lot when I got the email, I think, that said denied. And I remember telling my husband and my son to go home. They had a different car. They had come in. We had met there from after work. And I remember calling, and I was angry, that burning anger, hot tears, and I wanted to scream and cry all at the same time. I mean, it is the scariest moment ever, is your very first denial for something that's going to help you walk again. And I tried very hard to know, remembering that the person that was on the other end of the line doesn't make any of the policy up. They just read off a script. And I said, listen, you have to understand how angry I am and how frustrated and how burned I feel. I said, I know this has nothing to do with you, but you have to understand how mad I am right now, how scared I am, and how frustrating this is. And they were like, totally understand it. I said, I need to talk to somebody above you. I need to talk to a supervisor. And I did get a supervisor to call me back, and they said, we do see that you called 4 different times last fall with that same code, and we did tell you it was approved. However, it is no longer approved. I mean, I'm not kidding you guys. No shorts, if they worked weekends, I would have called every day. I called Monday through Friday, and every time tried to step it up to the next level of supervisors, until I got to a point where I had a man named Michael. And I said, listen, you're going to get off the phone with me today. You're going to go about your life. You're going to probably talk to a couple other people with their claims. You're going to go home to your family. You're going to have dinner. You're going to have a nice weekend. While I sit here completely destroyed, emotionally a wreck, can't function, only living in the moment of this. Nothing else mattered at the time. And I will be praying and praying and praying that Monday comes really fast and blow off the weekend, just so that I can call you again on Monday. And I said, my name is Angie. I am a mom. I homeschool my boys. I love to ski. My husband and I want to retire someday and ski. And I now have no leg. So I tried to make it extremely personal. Well, I finally got a connection through Autobot, because that was the leg I wanted, the Autobot C leg. They have an insurance claim person that works with Autobot to help you with your insurance. And because of him, I know exactly why it was denied, which is a great thing to know. It's kind of like going into your doctor and not getting a diagnosis, but you walk out feeling unfulfilled because nobody knows what it is. But even if the answer is it's cancer, at least you have an idea of what the heck's going on in your body, and then now you can fix what's going on. That's where I felt like I have an answer. In January, 2 weeks after my amputation, my insurance decided to change the wording and take my prosthesis, which is electric, it plugs in every night, and they clumped it into powered. Now I'm going to tell you the difference there. Powered, think of someone who is wheelchair bound and is paralyzed. A powered device would actually lift them. If you've ever seen anybody get lifted up out of their wheelchair and is standing, even though they can't use their legs, that is a powered device. It helps you stand. It helps you move. My device is electric. It just turns on and off. It will die out, but I'm the one. My hip is what makes my leg move. The electric just helps, kind of like power steering. It kind of keeps the thing moving, but it also has some niceties, like if it feels like I'm falling, it'll slow down the knee joint so it doesn't collapse like a hydraulic knee would. So they decided, before, I knew powered wasn't a part of my plan, but electric was. They put electric into powered and said, yeah, deny. It's part of the powered devices and you don't have that in your plan. I had no idea. They literally, for 4 weeks, Monday through Friday, I called for 4 weeks. I cried for 4 weeks. I was angry for 4 weeks. And I was in despair for 4 weeks of them telling me, we're sorry, it's not covered by your insurance. It took 4 weeks for finally someone to say, we got it cleared, but this is a one-time clearance. A one-time clearance, folks. It's not growing back. I'm not a lizard that loses my tail. I'm not any kind of starfish that can grow back my arm. This leg is gone for the rest of my life. The warranty on these legs, 3 years. And I was told this was a one-time exception because they saw in my voice records that I had asked about the same code 4 times and was told it was approved. And then I had my amputation and then they changed it and denied it. Do you know what that means? That every 3 years I fight. It isn't hard enough, right, to lose a leg, to choose to lose a leg or lose it without your permission. The anguish you go through with losing a part of you that you've known all your life, the healing, or some people that I know struggle with the wound care and the healing, and then to learn to maneuver for weeks while your leg heals with crutches, a walker, wheelchair, and then to be denied a way to walk and to have to fight, to find the energy and the emotional capacity to fight for the freedom of mobility is unacceptable. It really is. If you see someone that can actually do the things they say they're doing, like I hike, I ski, I surf, I go to the weight room, I play around here with my dogs, I rope, I work with horses, I'm a personal trainer, and to be denied the ability to make that a little bit easier for myself with a good leg is incredible. So let's fast forward now. At 3 years, the warranty is up. So I reapply. And we actually had to improve and upgrade our insurance so that I could get the last leg that I did get. That was 3 years ago, 3 years and a month. So on June 22nd of this summer, 2 days after this revision surgery, I was also up for getting a new leg. So I knew I was going to have to get a new socket because the surgery actually changed my limb a lot, and I needed a new leg. So the fight starts this week, and that is where I'm at. I'm trying not to get wrapped up in it because I will get what I need to get, but there has been really no major improvements in the C leg 4, but Autobach has created a brand new leg, the Genium X4, and it is for lack of a better term, the tank. It does so much more to help me with the things that I do on a weekly basis than my sea leg could ever handle. Yet it is about $100,000. And I know I'm going to have a no, and I'm going to have to fight. So here's what I want to tell you. If you're in this fight, if you've been denied, number one, do not give up with that no. No is not going to be the answer to your health and your future life. No is not acceptable. You're going to have to figure out a way around it. And trust me, it will take a lot of support and a lot of emotional energy, but it is going to be worth it. It's that, or it's your health where you're sitting around in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. And I don't care if you're 70 or 80 years old, or if you're 30 or 40 or 20. It is an exhausting process. Even if you have a fight in you, you have to know what you can do. Second, you need to have people in your corner, meaning the people that know the insurance lingo, the surgery lingo, and how to write this up to get the details to an appeal, because you will have to appeal that. If they say no right off the bat, you appeal it, and you have to find out what information you're missing. Usually for an amputee, the missing information is medical necessity. So if you can somehow convince them that it is necessary for you to have that specific leg, you need your prosthetist, your doctor, and your PT putting their heads together to fight for you. That should be a part of their job. You cannot do that alone. My guys did everything they could, but again, I wanted it bad, and I knew that it was my life that was getting screwed with. So I did take matters into my hand. Once my guys had put in everything they could, I started making it personal with the insurance company. That is so important, because all they do is answer phones all day, and you are a case number, you're a claim number, you are an insurance policy number, a group number. You are never Angie or Sue or Joe. You are a number. You need to get them off of that and explain to them who you are. It got so much to that point that I was talking one-on-one with this higher up a lot. And when I actually did get the approval that I knew he fought for, because they're not the bad guys, they're trying. But I remember sending him a picture, because 3 months after my amputation, I actually went skiing. And I said, this is the happy girl that you created. And because of your fight for my sake and my health, I'm able to do things like this with my family. And I sent him a picture of me skiing, just so he knew what he fought for. That makes it personal. So you have to have the energy to do this. You have to know what you can do. It is basically comes down to the squeaky wheel gets the oil. They say no, and I would bet 75 to 85% of the people take that as face value and stop trying. No, okay, I'm done. I guess that's just not meant to be. It is the people that are willing to go to that extreme. All right, so you have to fight and be squeaky. Second, get your medical team, all of them, on your side to start making sure they're using the right lingo to fight that process. And then 3, make sure that you make it personal. Don't just talk to the person answering the phones. You need to get someone else in charge. And that person, if they can't do it, you ask for someone else and say, I will keep calling until I get to that next level. You're going to bother them, and that's okay, because it's your life that you get to live, and they don't see that. After they get the phone and they hang up the phone, you're done. They're done with you. They're moving on. They're going home. They're living their life. They got their legs. You need to make it so it's annoying as heck for those people, and you want to not give up. So This is where I'm at because of the leg I would like to get. And I have heard nothing but everyone gets a no. I've only heard of 2 people that have ever gotten it. One person because of his profession. The other person paid $50,000 out of his own pocket. I'm not spending $50,000 on a leg when I have great insurance. So we're going to try to make this work. I wanted to talk about this because I do believe that most people think that the amputation is such the trauma, such the hard part, and it is hard. But that's just the start of becoming an amputee. Then you have to go through the healing, and then you go through sockets, and sockets are like 3 years of change and pain and hurting and waiting and waiting and waiting. We're always waiting on the next thing because we change so much in volume and atrophy. But most people don't talk about this other side, that you have to fight to get the exact thing that you want and need to make your life the best it can be. Because you can have a really great life as an amputee. I love my life. I know what I need to succeed in where I want to go. I have dreams. I have goals that I need to let my insurance company know. I might be 53 years old, but I'm not dying today. I'm still living a life. I want to live this life and hike and sightsee and get in the water and surf. And I want to do all that stuff for a long, long time. And the more I do it now, the healthier I am longer. So it's a win-win because guess what? When I'm healthy, I'm not going to doctors. I'm not having surgeries. I'm not going through all that. That costs a lot of money for the insurance company. So if you can convince them about who you are, your dreams, your aspirations, what you've always done, and how it'll keep you healthy and sane so that you're not using their money elsewhere, then let's do it one and done and get her done and get the right thing and the right equipment for you now. It is worth it, but it is a painful and a long struggle. It can take weeks. Like I said, for me, 4 weeks is nothing now, but in the heat of that, when all I could think about was the emotional anguish I was feeling and crying every day and every night because I didn't know if I'd ever see a yes, 4 weeks is a lifetime of pain. So if you're going through that, you want to reach out to me, I would be more than happy to share what I'm going through. Because right now, what I'm dealing with is some new procedures that have come out of Boston, plus the revision, and my lifestyle, and my certifications, and what I do. It might be philanthropy work because I don't get paid for anything I do, but I'm wanting to help the amputee community and our first responders through equine therapy and personal training and group chats and things like that in this podcast that I do just because it fulfills me. But I need to have the right leg to actually be motivational, to be somebody that shows you how to use it and what it can do, and to live the life I would like to live so that I'm healthy up here and with my body. So reach out to me because I do have 6 years of experience. This will be my 3rd fight. And this one's going to be a big one because I'm changing things up by asking for an improved leg. I've had the same one for 6 years. It's time to up the ante because I know what I can do and I know how strong I am. So I need something that can keep up with me. And the last leg kept crapping out on me. I had to send it back to the factory 3 times in 3 years. And they kept it for months. Overall, I think I didn't have it for 6 to 8 months of my 3-year warranty. So I need something that can keep up with me. You don't know what you need yet, but talk to your prosthetist, talk to your PT, and then have them help you fight. Using the words that they put in their documentation is the best way to start that. And then you may have to take matters into your own hand and fight the fight for yourself and make it personal for the insurance company. So I hope this helped you. This is very raw and real to me right now because my prosthetist is writing up the paperwork now, and he's using very good language so that we have the best chance of a possible yes right away. I am prepping my emotional and mental state for the no, and I'm getting ready to fight the fight. because I deserve that and I need that and I want that, and I'm going to fight for it because I know this will help me live a better, healthier life. So I hope this helped. I hope this clarified some things for some of you that might be in the middle of that, because I don't know anybody that becomes an amputee that isn't dealing with their insurance company. And I think we need to talk about this more. So reach out to me. Let me know what you think about this. And let me know if you're in the middle of that battle. And if I can help you in any way, shape, or form, I would be more than happy to let you know how I went about doing it a little bit more in detail. But as we go through this week, I hope that you do well. I hope you're feeling blessed and enjoying a beautiful week. I hope that if you have kids, they're getting back to school and everything is safe and you're safe and sound back home. If you're traveling, I hope that you're having safe travels. And of course, as always, be healthy, be happy, be you.